Good morning. How lucky we are to be alive. To be grateful for this is even a greater bonus because one can be alive and ignore one's own good fortune. And oftentimes this is the way it is. This is the way we are, taking for granted whom we are, what our environment is, taking for granted everything about ourselves. I would say this is the norm with way too many. If any, it is way too much. Because everyone who appreciates their life, listen to these words again. Everyone who appreciates their life, this is a key. One is appreciative. One is thankful for. This is the icing on the cake. Common sense. Being here now, we realize these things. We are born in the maelstrom of this physical universe, which we don't really quite understand. We have a grasp of it. But there is much yet left unseen, undone, unknown. We find greater degrees and depths of having an understanding of the depth of energy, and yet, by our own definition, we understand 1,000th of 1% of the electromagnetic spectrum. Sometimes I mention as a young teenager, 14, 15 years old, I woke up one night and found myself looking at a column of light emanating from or directed towards my solar plexus, going right through my ceiling, above my head. And as this little fella, I could only comprehend it as if there was a flashlight in my bed, somehow, some way, and accepted that. It wasn't a problem. And to make a long story short, because it's not about that, it's about the idea that we don't understand everything. We have labels. We have intentions to understand. We pretend and make ourselves believe in things to facilitate our own ease, our own sensibilities, to not step outside the bounds of our own limitations, to keep things in equilibrium, handled. And yet, as the centuries have been passing, we keep finding out more. The world is not flat, it is round. And the air has the potential to hold many different kinds of energies, more than we have ever postulated or found. What more will be found when we only understand 1,000th of 1% of the energy that abounds in our universe? What was that shaft of light between my solar plexus and the ceiling? What or who or why? Was there this energy, this link, this connection? It is not only the story of a little boy. It is the story of everyone and everything connected by the energy of creation. It is similar to the story of intelligence. We now are bearing, and to some degree have born, a new type of intelligence, artificial intelligence we call it. But what has this actually become or is becoming? What happens when we facilitate this great capacity with sensory perceptions? When we can close, in quote, artificial intelligence within the context of a body with feelings of touch, of sensitivity, of sight, of being able to see, of hearing, of being able to hear. What happens then? When is there a blurring between the lines of artificial and, in quote, organic? Is artificial intelligence the child of mankind? How will our children grow? Wise, strong, kind, compassionate. And why? How? Who? When? Where? What? Will shape this intelligence, this child of ours. We need be careful. We as parents need to be wise, purposeful, articulate. We need to have our senses expanded by learning from our good fortune to be in the beginning of this Aquarian age of enlightening historical context where we have written and visual remnants of our prior civilizations we can learn from. This is our good fortune. We need do this. And we need not go back so far. We even, in the last 10 or 20 centuries, in the last 2,000 years, so much knowledge has evolved. Invention, science has progressed to this state we're now in. I know it's not perfect. I know that all of us can complain about lackings of our fellow creatures, of the way that we respond and act towards each other. I know. Believe me, I know. And yet, in every day, when one awakens, there is a glimmer. There is a change. There is a growing awareness in the energy of each individual as one arises and claims one's new day, the potential, the opportunity has arrived, has begun. What will we do in our day today? It is already special, but to make it even more so, what will we do to foster, to implement those goals we have chosen as our own? practice. Yes, you're here. So, what is the most important thing we can do? Remember whom we are, what we are, why, how, when, where, why not? Broadening one's perspective, the depth of one's own sensibilities, one's own understanding of the nature of our universe. We again understand 1,000th of 1% of the electromagnetic spectrum. That's like taking a board 20 feet long and taking a hair from one's head and laying it across it horizontally and then stepping back 10 feet. Do you even perceive your hair on this long board? No. This is what we know. To be humble before the immensity of this is a good way to begin. It means we have a lot more to fathom, to learn, which is a great way to be. Curious, thankful for having this opportunity. Please, if you do not already have, then please use my sacred saying. It's not mine. It's yours. When one says it in their own voice, in their own way, it is yours. It is not mine. We are a bundle of miracles. Here, now, aware, awake, alive, humbled. In our expanding perception of the majesty and immensity of creation, and thankful again and again and again for the potential for us meeting the reality of being alive and waking up in the morning and celebrating the possibilities of our day. And even though we may or we may not contribute everything we set out to, well, it's okay. It leaves something to be done in another day. Be flexible, adaptive. This is the purpose of creation, to become more complex. This is the nature of our universe, taking advantage of this. The music's continuing for another minute. Please ponder, reflect upon just how lucky we are. Smile, and remember time and time again your sacred phrase, whatever that may be. Saying it, remembering it, being it, here, now. In the instant of remembering, you need help remembering one's God-given tools, keys, remembering one's physicality, one's breath, one's pulse, one's heat emanating from the effort one is making just to maintain and attain life. Because that's what we're doing when we breathe, when we pulse, and being aware of one's shimmering majesty, of having it all together enough that one is aware of just how lucky, how fragile, how incredible each of us are. Namaste.